Hi everyone, and welcome back for another video. So this is a video chronicling my hair challenges over the last 4 years to the point at which my hair is now natural. So I started off with natural hair, and I had been natural for about 7 years. I wasn't really like a natural in the sense that I was, I knew what being natural meant. I was mostly in extension braids for the entire 7-year period, and I wasn't really taking care of my hair. I was barely even washing my hair at this stage or doing any sort of deep conditioning treatment. So I was literally just hiding my hair because I couldn't be bothered to deal with it. And in about 2008, the summer of 2008, I got the bright idea to relax my hair because I felt at this stage I was now sort of like an adult and I could properly take care of my hair because I sort of understood a little bit better what it meant to have relaxed hair. So for about a year, I had fairly decent hair, I would say. I was quite happy with my hair. I am feeling myself at this stage in this photo, but you can see that my hair was kind of roughly sort of just below neck length, so just slightly above my shoulders. And it was pretty healthy at this stage, but I am quite a lazy person, and I decided, actually, you know what, I can't bother to deal with my own hair. I'm going to go to the hairdressers and get the hairdressers to take care of my hair. At least now I know what to look out for in terms of a bad hairdresser. Well, I was wrong. I stupidly would sit in the salon chair and allow the hairdressers to not only relax my new growth but also relax the hair that had already been previously relaxed. Now at this stage my hair was still fairly healthy, so it managed to sustain about 3 or 4 months of this continuous relaxing of hair that was already relaxed. But things started to go a little bit wrong, and at the back of my nape my hair started to fall out, and my hair then started to really itch, particularly around the crown area and towards the left hand side of my crown. And I realized that something seriously was wrong, because at the front of my hair I had this kind of bob shape, and I had kept on having to cut it, but the bob shape was looking a little bit weird at the front, but I couldn't really tell what was going on. So one day I decided I was going to take a photo of the back of my head to see what was happening. I didn't have a mirror at the time to be able to sort of do that mirror reflection look at the back of my head. And I can't even describe to you the horror and devastation at seeing what had happened to my hair. Not only did I have a misshapen bob, but I had bald patches all over the place, and this was the explanation for why my bob looked so misshapen, because I basically had no hair in a lot of places. And I was just obviously devastated, so I quickly jumped on the internet. I was looking around to see what on earth the solutions could be. My scalp was itching to, like, you wouldn't even believe, and I was scratching my hair every single day. My hair would literally disintegrate in my fingers as I was scratching. And at this point I was in the middle of my master's, so I was doing my dissertation. So the additional stress of that while working full-time and doing a full-time course, so I was, basically just stressed out all the time. And my hair was just extremely dry, it was brittle, it was falling out. And so I went onto the internet and discovered these things called Megatech and peppermint oil and all these kind of essential oils, and I created my own mixture of Megatech, peppermint oil, grapeseed oil, rosemary oil, MN, castor oil, all these kinds of things that were supposedly great for growing hair. And I created a little mixture, and I would apply that on a daily basis to my scalp. And after a few months things started to improve. So you can see here in September 2009 I don't have so many of the bald patches, but I had to cut my hair to ear length. Not that I was losing much, to be honest, but I cut it to ear length to try and even out the horrible monstrosity that was happening at the back of my head. But my growth mixture, as I like to now call it, did actually have some effect. So by October 2009 most of these sort of bald patches had filled in, and I was feeling a little bit happy with my hair, but I continuously had to keep cutting it because it just was not it just looked ridiculous. I had to keep cutting the back to try and even things out. And so And at this point I just started dating Ross, so you know, every time he saw me, my hair was just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and you know, he didn't actually say anything. It's only now, now that things have improved and you know, we're married, that he actually said, you know, he used to wonder why my hair was always getting shorter every time he saw me. Anyway, so as you can see here, most of the bald patches have now disappeared, and I'm really at this stage still experiencing all of the broken hairs and all the things that go with damaged hair. That hair was just beyond repair. But because I didn't know what else to do, besides continuing to use my growth mixture and drinking water and taking all these multivitamins and, you know, massaging that area on a regular basis, I relaxed my hair. So the relaxer grew out very quickly, and a month later, this is December 2009, you can see I've just got straight afro at the back of my head, but I was still holding on to all of this relaxed hair that you can see at the top of at the front of my hair, and I was just holding on to it because I didn't know what else to do, and I didn't want to wear a wig because I thought wigs were like for old people. But in January 2009, my hair had grown long enough to be able to cornrow the back there. And so that's when I started to wear wigs. In the meantime, while wearing wigs, I would continuously do co-washes, deep conditioning treatments. I learned all about essential oils. I learned all about oils that penetrate the hair. I was spending so much money on all of these various different treatments, and they eventually did work. I mean, I don't know which one in particular works, but I know that something eventually works, because by July 2009, I had made remarkable progress from where I was. And I was also continuously taking my multivitamins, MSN, reading all these hair boards, exercising, drinking lots of water, and eventually my hair did, you know, grow out, and I managed to grow out the back there. And at this point here, I decided to straighten my hair to see where I was, but I was still holding on to these ends, as you can see, and this is a rather pathetic attempt at a ponytail. And I thought to myself, this can't be right. What I will do is I will relax my hair. And I was scared of over processing, so in the end I ended up with Texlax hair, and this is the results of my Texlax hair. But because most of the hair around the crown area wasn't long enough, it then looked very, very thin and see-through, and I wasn't really happy with this. So I decided that I was no longer going to relax my hair at this stage. Now this is a photo of my Texlax hair. As you can see, the relaxer didn't take at all. So I have a mixture here of Texlaxed hair and relaxed hair. But by December 2009, because my hair had filled in completely, I then started to contemplate this idea of going natural. But it was still only contemplating, and at this stage I just decided that I was going to continue to take care of my hair. Try and deal with the issue of the itchiness. By this time, the itchiness had subsided quite a bit, and my hair wasn't falling out as much, but it was still very, very dry. And obviously I was still, at this point, I had a variety of textures. I had not only Texlax hair, I had natural hair, and I had old relaxer. But in this photo here, I think at this point I'd cut off all of the relaxer, and all that I had here was the Texlax hair, which I continued to straighten. And by the end of 2011, I had made remarkable progress. So my hair was now sort of scraping my shoulders from, you know, where I'd originally been, like, had no hair anywhere near my shoulders, and I could make a ponytail, but my hair was still very, very thin and dry, and I hadn't really perfected my hair regime. So throughout 2012, I continued to take care of my hair, deep conditioning treatments, using a combination of protein and moisture, and just try and get my hair onto an even track. Because I don't have any photos from 2012, and I spent most of 2012 in extension braids, and 2013 as well. Actually, I didn't have any progress photos, but at the end of 2013, as you can see, I did straighten my natural hair and discovered pleasingly that my hair was now beyond my shoulders, even though it was still quite thin. And I still have the same issues with my crown area, where it's still very, very dry and very brittle and breaks quite a lot. But the problems with my itching have all disappeared. I'm in a much better state with my hair. I'm pleased at where I've reached, and you know, I hope that this video has been helpful to those of you who might be starting out and are struggling and think that you will never ever get over these challenges with your hair. You will. I did, and you know, I hope that it's been helpful. If any of you have any questions or you know want to leave me any comments, then please leave them in the comment box and I'll be sure to reply. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for the next video. Thanks guys, bye bye.